what's the theme?
Wicked cheap.
Wicked cheap! Water.
Screw me up, man.
So let's move on to the robots portion.
Let's move on.
Have you figured out what we're gonna do?
No.
Robots on the rocks.
Robot on the rocks.
Robots on the rocks.
Week 3.
Coach Detman, PhelesDragon.
This is 3.5, Robot on the Rocks. Knockoffs versus OG Hasbro molds.
When you say knockoffs, you actually mean third party.
No. Third party is typical vernacular you use when you mean a completely new mold by a different company of a pre-existing Hasbro character. Versus a knockoff, which is where they take a Hasbro mold, copy it, and resell it. But they change it enough, or they do it in China, where the copyright laws are like, what's copyright? Gosh, friggin' darn it, I still don't have Power of the Prime Center Twin. I ordered one online, I'll have them by Wednesday. Maybe we'll do them next week. This is the Center Twin renamed Twinstrike for Transformers Prime. I don't know if they couldn't get the copyright on the name or what, but... So this was the beginning of I'm going to say a test by Hasbro to try out like full-fledged combiners again, but on a small scale. What Hasbro did is they took that mold, they blew it up, they gave it some tighter joints. They sort of knocked off their own toy. They did the bird too. And it's dumb. Like, it doesn't have elbows, it doesn't have knees.
Wait, what?
It doesn't have elbows and it doesn't have knees. Because they took the Legends class figure and they just blew it up to deluxe size.
That's horrible. They're the same.
Mm-hmm.
They do come out a little bit.
Exactly. He's got ball joints, where this one's only got swivel joints. Okay. So the more joints on this actually make it less posable.
I would like to see the beast heads as dragon cannons.
Dragon cannon!
And then legs.
Sounds like a Digimon attack.
Dragon cannon!
Is this pedo drunk? What's a pedo? Oh, pedo.
Steven, no. Steven's dark.
Well, he's 13, that's what you do. You go through that period so you can become a functioning member of society. Continue your work, good sir. Do you remember Abominus that we reviewed 2 weeks ago?
Yes.
This is Transformers Prime Abominus. 3 dudes.
What are those?
Okay, girl from Black Panther. Well, you're looking at the back.
Oh, that's the back?
See, you gotta look at the face, man.
Oh! These are supposed to be hands, right? Like, wait, which part's supposed to be the hand?
I don't know on the bird part. I can tell, but with him, on this one, he's got like 4 big, chunky Fat Man fingers that could grab a whole baby.
I don't like it.
So,
it looks cool, but very confusing and hard to play with.
Pick out a certain problem here. How many robots can create Abominus there?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
How many robots do you see here?
2, but there's 3 others, right? There aren't?
Hasbro opted to blow up the molds,
oh my God.
But only 2 of them.
Does that pose into this?
Yeah, it's the same joints. The only thing it doesn't do is it doesn't have the 4 pegs on the inside of the legs that plug into the arm.
Aren't those the 4 pegs?
No, I put those there. Why would I put those there, Will, if I don't have the other 3 members of the combiner team?
Because you're stupid.
No, because somebody did knock off the combiner team. The OG Hasbro mold, the knockoff.
Well, I like the colors on this better, to be quite honest.
I custom painted that.
Okay, I like it less now. Still looks cooler.
So you like the green better, actually.
This?
Because those are actually the Takara Tomy Japanese colors of the original Hasbro molds color scheme. It's confusing. There's a lot of these.
This is like an exaggerated version of the smaller one. He feels cheap.
He said his gravity disintegrated.
Just me, or is this a little bit bigger?
He is! Oh, it's so frustrating. Yeah, okay. That creates problems.
It's a better plastic, and the joints are better. I like the colors better on this, and I like the maneuverability of the joints on this one better.
Yeah, because it's strangely more posable.
If you could take the quality of this and into this...
2 modes, doesn't combine, because they didn't release the other 3 figures. No elbows, no knees, no head. They charged the same price. It didn't go well. Mm-hmm. It's one of the reasons they didn't continue blowing up their Legends class figures. I'm glad they did, because I like having a second arm for my knockoff Abominus. I did pay full price for that. I'm okay with it. I like that figure. Would you spend the deluxe price point on that? You shouldn't.
I'm going to give him 1 Robot.
I'd give him 2 just because I'm really fond of him. I don't know why. I've just been fond of this design.
There's dragons for arms.
Which is a pretty badass life decision, if you ask me.
We're supposed to guess which one is which?
Yeah, which one's which?
Based on how they feel, I would say this is the legit, this is the third party. But since you're asking me, I'm assuming it's a trick question, so I'm going to say this is the original, this is the third party.
You're right.
It's got metal on it.
It's got metal.
It's got legit metal.
It's bigger. And it's got a cool design aesthetic with the like smoky, and, like the dry brush on it, and the metal and the chrome. It looks like he's got a...
He has a dick!
It's a big red rocket.
It's a big red rocket! I like Scorn. Aside from me making fun of the whole thing right now, it is an actual really, like, a good figure.
I'm going to say 2015 was the time where some of the knockoffs started surpassing the original molds, and we entered into a really weird period. Even if it weren't for the colors, though, wouldn't you say that this is better, objectively?
Yeah.
And that's sad. There was a crossover where Hasbro almost became a knockoff of itself. That's kind of like, that was like the fun of the knockoffs back then. You could buy them, they were cheap, you customize them. If you broke them, it's like, whatever. You know, I spent less on this than I did the official smaller version. And now it's like, you're going to spend less, but get something better.
This guy looks cool.
I like having this, but I don't think I'm going to buy any more third-party figures.
Why not?
Because there's just something about it that just feels kind of greasy. You get to Triceratops mode.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to do this.
I forgot how tiny this thing is. It's so little.
It looks like it just gave birth
It's
to
a
you.
baby. Woo, mama.
We've looked at a lot of robots tonight.
Yeah, we didn't really review anything. I didn't really have
played with them.
I just didn't have a plan for this week. We're just winging it. I'll have a plan for next week.
If you guys are just watching us for the first time,
Yeah.
we usually just sit here, drink, and talk about robots. But
one specific robot or set of robots. And
yeah,
give
and
a
we
full
kind
review.
of took on a whole herd.
Yeah, we did. Which is a really good way to put this because they're all animals.
Until next week, it was nice talking to you guys. Coach Detman, PhelesDragon, PhelesDragon.